Hi, everybody. Mitch Chev, I'm here. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to talk today a little bit about a concept called the shared responsibility model. This is really coming to focus with cloud vendors and as people move to third-party service providers for a lot of their functionality. But it was even true before, right? Some things were the responsibility of IT, and some things were the responsibility of accounting, and some things were responsible of HR. So that's kind of a shared responsibility model. But when it comes to the cloud, and this includes, not only say your Microsoft or Amazon or Google Cloud, but every other product. Let's say you use ADP or Paylocity for payroll, or you use something for ERP or whatever. Those are all shared responsibilities. So I'm going to show you here. I'm going to share my screen and to show you, what that looks like when it comes to Microsoft. But the model really is the same, no matter whether this is Microsoft or somebody else. And I know, unfortunately, these graphics are a little bit of a eye chart, but you can see, when you have, software as a service, which is this first column, then, you're not responsible for a lot of stuff. And if you buy a platform as a service, then you're responsible for more stuff, or some things like these columns here are shared. And then infrastructure as a service, you're responsible for even more things. So, let's just kind of look at the concept here. And again, this applies to Azure, but it works the same for everybody. So in the case of Microsoft, they're responsible for physical security and network security. They're responsible for running the virtualization stack, the platform security, and the fact that Azure by itself is responsible at the base layer for complying with certain regulations. On the other hand, you as a customer are responsible for data security and setting up your user IDs and managing that. Your applications, you're responsible for application security, and so on and so forth. So if we look at, again, this is just an example, but here is a more detailed breakdown of what it looks like if you're the cloud provider is just providing the physical layer and you're providing everything else, all the way up to the other end of software as a service, where the reason why you're buying software as a service is because the cloud provider is responsible for more things. But that still means, for example, the big one is data backup, right? Almost all cloud providers, including Microsoft, including Amazon, including Google, are not responsible for backing up your data. They offer technologies that assist with that, but they're not responsible for the result. So if your data goes away, that's on you. That's not on them. The why is a shared responsibility model important? Because it helps with clarity, so everybody knows what they're responsible for. And it obviously helps with risk management because you're reducing risk, and it helps you from a compliance standpoint. So with regard to you, let's talk about real quickly, and then I'll be done here. You have, for example, maybe a managed service provider that helps you with your IT. Well, what exactly is that MSP responsible for? And what are you responsible for? Maybe you have outsourced, a cloud-based accounting system like, Oracle or Microsoft Dynamics. For example, in Dynamics, Microsoft will give you 28 days of backup. Beyond that, there is no backup. If you need to recover something more than 28 days old, you can't get there from here. So all that is important. If you have not built shared responsibility charts for each of your cloud-based, or not even cloud-based, but just external, let's say you have a third-party accounting service. Well, that's not really a cloud, other than they may use some cloud software. But what is that third-party accounting service responsible for versus what are you responsible for? If you need help sorting this out, and there's going to be a lot of different charts, one for each service that you use, because who's responsible for what is going to be different from solution to solution. Need help with this? Please reach out to us. But this is a really, really important thing to deal with. And if you haven't dealt with it so far, now would be a great time to start. Thanks for listening, and give us a holler. Thanks.